Yes, we can.
All right, welcome back. 3:33. I love talking about restaurants. I love talking about money. I love talking about management. I love talking about how to make your business a better, more profitable. Look, no one's in business to have fun. If you're doing that, just go find a hobby somewhere. It's about making money. It's about running your business, about growing your business, about employing other people. It's about giving back to the community. It's about serving others, right? If it's other than that, it's just called a stupid hobby. My next two guests, I'm so thrilled to have them in here. The book is called The E-Myth, Chief Financial Officer, Why Most Small Businesses Run Out of Money and What to Do About It. Michael Gerber and Fred Parrish. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
A delight.
You guys are looking, I love the hat you're wearing there.
Well, thank you very much.
Cool. A lot of style there. All right. And, of course, Fred, you and I have talked a couple times on the phone.
We have.
Yeah? All right. First, let's kind of recap. We'll get into the book in just a second. You guys just spoke last week here in Dallas.
Yeah, just Wednesday at Success North Dallas, and then also yesterday down at the Network Bar.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You know, the Network Bar's cool, isn't it?
It is.
What a great way to
Great place.
network, right? You talk to a lot of business owners. You talk to a lot of hundreds of people every time you go to one of these engagements. What's some of the questions that people bring you guys as far as business owners of saying, why can't my business survive? Why is my organization not thriving? What's some of the questions they bring you?
Well, candidly, they don't come with questions.
Oh.
They come to hear. They come to hear an answer. And so when I speak, and I've been speaking around the world for 40 years, to tens of thousands of people, to hundreds of people, to a handful of people, we come with a story. And the story is truly the most significant and disruptive story anybody in any audience has ever heard. People get really pissed off. They just do. They get really pissed off. And they get pissed off because I'm confronting them with the truth about business, not the fantasy about business, not the myth about business, that they're not entrepreneurs, that I've never met a real entrepreneur running a small business. What I've met instead are what I call technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure, meaning they create a job for themselves. And it's the worst job in the world because they're working for a lunatic. Themselves. Doing it, busy. Now, anybody who hears me right now, who heard me yesterday at the Network Bar or heard me the day before, says, my goodness, does Gerber always repeat himself? I mean, I heard him say that yesterday, and I heard him say that last week, and I heard him say that in one of his 31 books he's written and published over and over and over again. It's an absolutely extraordinary thing that most people don't know why they suffer so in the operation of their company. It's because the company doesn't work. They do. And the problem is they're doing the wrong work. So I talk to them about going to work on their business, not in their business. And the difference between going to work on your business as opposed to in your business is the difference between night and day. It's the difference between Apple and Murray's Joint. And you understand who's at Murray's Joint. My goodness, it's Murray.
It's just Murray.
Yeah,
He's hanging out by himself.
How did he end up doing that day after day? So that's what we do.
I love it. And Fred, I've had you on the show before, and we've talked about money, and we talked a lot of times that people don't really know how to invest their money wisely within their business. They get caught up, I think, in a lot of other things. How about when it comes to money? What's some of the things that people address you?
Well, I think the biggest problem that people have with money is they don't plan how they're going to use it, because you can have a cost today that you don't know what that true cost is for months or years down the road. And it's how you manage those dollars and how you manage the decisions about those dollars over extended periods of time.
So they don't understand that every decision you make in a business is a financial decision.
Exactly.
They don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Every choice you make is a financial choice. They don't know that. And so what Fred does and what we've done in our book, the E-Myth Chief Financial Officer, Why Most Small Businesses Run Out of Money over and over and over and over again, is because the owner-operator doesn't have a chief financial officer.
Yep.
He or she is the chief financial officer, and they haven't a clue how to do it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
marketing and operations.
You got it.
They're everything.
Every
bit of it.
job.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and I know that, and you've said this before, like you could be the best cabinet maker around. It doesn't mean that you're the best marketing person for a cabinet company. It doesn't mean you're the best CFO for a cabinet company.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
you
right.
can't. It's really hard to juggle, and I applaud any business owner, entrepreneur that can actually do that and does a great job at that. What are some of the biggest takeaways that people get from this book, and when you guys speak to these groups of people?
Well, from my perspective, the biggest takeaway, the biggest takeaway of all, is that they suddenly come face to face to understand they don't have a chief financial officer. They are their chief financial officer, and they don't know how to do it. That's the takeaway. The takeaway then is I got to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
In short, I got to master the money. Fred can talk more about that.
Yeah, and it's whether they like it or not. That is the reality. Because if they are looking to their accountant or their CPA, they're looking in the wrong place, because those people are compliance oriented.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing debits, credits, tax returns, head down. The business owner's trying to run the business. They're trying to do marketing and production, and they are looking in one direction. Again, the CPA is looking down at the debits and credits and the tax return forms. And there's a gap between those two functions. And that business owner is thinking the CPA has my back when they don't. And so they are at risk of making that fatal decision at any moment in time that could destroy their company months or even years in the future.
And it's not only true of the CPA, it's true of every single person they hire as they begin to grow. They believe, since I hired somebody who knows how to do this, then I can depend upon somebody to do this. And you can't. So it's not about people. Everybody thinks it's about getting better people, getting better people, getting better people. McDonald's was never successful because it got better people. McDonald's was successful beyond belief because it created a world-class system.
Exactly.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is who we are. And everybody masters that system or they're out of here.
See, I was telling our previous guest before you guys came in, I go, if you structure your company where the lowest level employee can do everything in the building. So if this person and this person doesn't show up, it's okay, because you can grab these people in this department and bring them over here to fill those jobs. So it's, in other words, the system runs it, not the people.
The system's
that's
the
right.
solution.
Yeah.
The system's the solution.
Yeah.
Say it again. The
System
is the solution.
The solution.
And that's what the owner-operator needs to understand, that I'm here to develop the turnkey systems through which my company is differentiated from everybody else in my business. So McDonald's is a restaurant, but it isn't a restaurant. You understand? McDonald's is McDonald's is McDonald's is McDonald's. Now, you might think I've got a fetish for McDonald's, but what I really have a fetish for is the brilliance of Ray Kroc to understand that he didn't go to work in the hamburger stand. He went to work on the hamburger stand to build his franchise prototype so he could replicate it. And every small business owner I've ever spoken to, and I've spoken to literally millions of them throughout the world in 145 countries, doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter the market, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter who they are. What really matters is your understanding of how to organize and design a company that works again and again and again and again. And when somebody gets that, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what the book is about, developing that system that a CFO is to execute. And again, the CEO, the owner, the manager is that CFO. And it's a completely non-technical book. So anyone can use the information that is there to create that function so that they are able to manage that future more effectively.
I was saying earlier before you guys came on that I think companies that provide excellent customer service and they strive to be to provide an enjoyable experience as possible or go above and beyond their competitors are also the ones that stand out. Because I just got off an airline that I think is great, that's Southwest.
Right.
I've flown some others that are horrible.
Well, Southwest is the McDonald's of airlines.
There you go.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's turnkey.
And it goes from the gate guy to the guy taking your bags on the curb to the pilot. They all got the same mindset and the same goal.
Every one of them.
That's it.
Yep. Think about it.
Yeah.
I just picked the perfect example, Southwest, and nobody would have believed you could have built one of the most successful airlines on the planet the way they did. But they did. And you can too. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Every single person I've ever met can do that.
The book is called The E-Myth, Chief Financial Officer, Why Most Small Businesses Run Out of Money and What to Do About It. We'll take a break, come back. We'll have some more of these guys. I'll check my email. If you got an email, you got a message, hit me up at Brian Glenn TV on Facebook or give us a call at 214-787-1160. I love it. I could just have you guys come on every day. I get a thrill out of this. I really do. In a few minutes, we'll come right back.
Experts in business in North Texas.
All right, welcome back. I am going to have a cardiac arrest in the studio. It's true.
Or I am.
All right. Please don't. We need you. A lot of business owners need you out there. We are having some fun. I'm going to bring in Andrew Tyler as well and Razuz in this conversation with Fred Parrish and Michael Gerber. We're talking about running a profitable business, a profitable business, and let's put some structure behind it as well. I'm a big fan of you guys. I think that you guys have changed people's lives. To be honest with you, you've made a difference. Whether or not they become a profitable business or their dream gets crushed and they go back and work in the machine somewhere, which is not a bad thing because the machine has structure. They didn't, right?
Right.
Okay, I want to bring Andrew in here as well.
Hello, Andrew.
Hey,
guys.
Hi, Andrew.
Restaurant. You guys can relate to restaurant owners, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time. I mean, out of all the businesses that you guys talk to, all the CFOs that come in and all that stuff, what industry stands out to you?
Well, restaurants suck.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, they do suck.
Oh, yeah, they do suck. Big time. Most restaurants go out of business. Restaurants go out of business faster than any other business on the planet. Most people who start their own restaurant really, really are bad at it. So the guy who makes the food decides, I can make a restaurant that makes the food, and then you see the guy making the food in the restaurant, and nothing else is being handled.
Absolutely.
Chaos.
So he turned his hobby and his passion. He's like, I can do this. I'm the best chef, but you're not the best business owner.
Yes,
You
thank
can probably
That's right.
cook a steak like nobody's business, but can you run the business?
Right. It's
Or
terrible.
it is
It's
terrible.
terrible.
Andrew, what's the hardest challenge as an owner-operator for you guys?
I think right now that the biggest challenge that we're facing is finding great people. There's a tug on folks in the service industry right now. Restaurants are popping up everywhere. To their point, everybody that's ever worked in a restaurant successfully thinks that they can open up a new restaurant.
That's true, right?
Or they think they can open up their bar. It's also a venture that a lot of folks that are approaching retirement, they've got a nest egg. They're like, you know what? I've always wanted to open a bar. I'm going to open a bar, and they don't realize the complexities that go into owning and operating, a restaurant or a bar. But the challenges that we face every single day are finding great people to fit into our systems, and keeping staffed up with the times, and being able to handle the anticipated volume that we deal with every single day.
Yeah, the labor market's an issue right now for everyone. So
It is.
Yeah, I can just imagine they're having problems with that.
And the price of goods too. Chicken is only going to get more expensive tomorrow than it was today. The price of corn affects the cost of chicken. Everything is going up from beer to liquor, food, labor.
Yeah, so that's a great example of what we are talking about in the E-Myth CFO.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that the labor market's really tight, labor rates are going up, it's hard to find people. Fuel costs are up, then they're down, now they're going back up again once OPEC reduces their output. Interest rates are going up. How does a small business owner manage all of those dynamics and be able to understand where they're headed and make sure they don't run out of cash?
We talked about something, and I don't want to bring their name up in the show, but companies expand way too fast. There was a juice company, and I'm not going to name them, in this market. I thought they'd put one on every corner. And I thought to myself, I know how much real estate is. I know how much that space costs, and that space costs, and that space costs. And I know how much you get for your little juice. There's no freaking way they were making money, and they end up closing a lot of locations.
Right, and it happens everywhere.
All the time.
There was a construction company that I know of that just absolutely vaporized. They were heading for $250 million in revenue. Gone.
But you see, it's really important to understand that In-N-Out doesn't have a problem finding people. Chick-fil-A doesn't have a problem finding people. And the reason Chick-fil-A doesn't have a problem finding people is because of the ethos, the ethic underlying the culture of Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A believes in what they do to the degree very few small business owners do. So it's critical to understand it's the philosophy underlying the company's lifestyle that is absolutely critical and must be communicated continuously, not only in your interview with a new prospective employee, but with every single customer who comes in the door. It's the philosophy underlying the existential reality of that entrepreneur's belief system. So hear me, nobody has a problem finding great people when you've got a great system for finding ordinary people that can do extraordinary work. I have a perfect example of that with a company called 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And I just interviewed Brian Scudamore. Now, Brian Scudamore tells the story about he was in business for about 5 years picking up junk. He had 11 people working for him. And he came to the realization, I don't enjoy this. This isn't what I want to do. I thought it was going to be completely different than this. So he decided to fire them all. He fired everybody, and he went away for 3 days to a cabin overlooking the ocean in British Columbia. And he did 3 things. The first thing he did was to create a 1-page story of the company he truly would love to own and to actually operate. The next thing he did is to read my book, The E-Myth Revisited, 2 times. 2 times there. 2 times there in that 3-day window. And he went back and started his company all over again. Hear me. That company today is a $400 million a year enterprise. That company is an international franchise. That company is the prototype for now 4 new companies he's created, home services companies, all of which suck in the real marketplace. But when Brian does it, he doesn't have any problem finding great people. They love what Brian does.
I love it.
You get it? They love it.
I get it. I love it. Michael Gerber, Fred Parrish. The book is called The E-Myth, Chief Financial Officer, Why Most Small Businesses Run Out of Money and What to Do About it. Best website for someone to get a hold of the book and just get more information about you guys and reading up on kind of your background.
Yeah, theprofitbeacon.com. They can find out information about our automated CFO software, get information about the book, and information about everything else we do.
Right,
and I want to give them absolutely the most incredible gift anybody's ever given.
What's that?
Very simple. Go to freebook.michaelegerber.com and you're going to get my brand new, most incredible book called Making It on Your Own in America. Just get it.
I love it. Coming back, we're talking turkeys. All right, gobble, gobble. We'll do that when we come back.
Get ready. It's time for In the Know with Brian Glenn.
First of all, very few people listen to your radio show. That's the good news.
All right, let's do this thing. Thank God it's Friday, right, guys?
No,
Friday. I
absolutely.
need a break. I need a break. I'm so glad you're joining us. If you missed the 3 o'clock hour, I'm sorry. You need to tune in a little earlier because we had some great discussions going on. Michael Gerber, Fred Parrish, Andrew Tyler. Andrew Tyler's in the studio from Razzoos. Real quickly, before I let you guys go, I wanted to ask you, and be truthful, fried turkeys. Like them, love them, never had them?
Who?
Yeah.
Fried turkeys?
Fried turkey, never had one.
Never had one.
Yeah, I've had a lot.
Yeah.
Kind
like
of a
'em?
Texas thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like them.
A little different, right?
It is
A
different.
little different. Of course, you guys at Razzoos are serving those up just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yes, we are.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes, we are. And the best time to get those order in is this weekend.
Yeah, get it done now.
Get it done now.
Don't wait till Tuesday afternoon.
You may be out of luck.
You may be out of luck.
You may be out of luck.
But we're talking about this. Not only is it, I think it's a pretty cool thing to serve up your family, but if people want to do this at home, and a lot of people want to do this at home, there's some safety guidelines they gotta follow, or they're gonna get themselves in some trouble.
Yes. So I mean, the number one thing that happens is a fire, and that can be caused by overfilling your fryer too high with the oil. So when you drop your turkey in there, the oil displaces over the edge of the fryer. The flammable oil touches the pilot light that you're using to light your fryer, and the next thing you know, you've got a pretty big issue on your hand. Another thing is that they don't thaw their turkey all the way, and they put a frozen bird into a vat of fry oil, which we talked about earlier. The water turns immediately into steam, and which creates a reaction that causes oil to fly everywhere, overflow, and again could lead to a disastrous Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be stories that you're going to see on the news. This is going to happen somewhere in America,
Always is.
probably in the South,
That's right.
Every year.
the deep South. I'm making fun of that. So it's nice that you guys are kind of sharing some safety precautions, and so people don't get injured.
Right. Well, and we've been doing this for a long time. We've been frying turkeys. You asked me earlier, if this was kind of a recent 5 to 6 year trend, and we've been frying turkeys at Razzoos for 10 plus years. It's definitely become more popular in the last 5 to 6 years. I think that the average consumer of turkey kind of looks at that as boring. It's dry, doesn't have a lot of flavor. Frying it adds, an element of the juices and the spice, and you can put your own marinade in there. So it's much more of a delightful turkey. But there are some major risks that come along with that too. So the first rule of safety that I always like to say is safest way to get a fried turkey is to order one from us.
Absolutely.
But if you insist, and these
I
guys
was
over here,
hoping you
these-
would say
these-
that.
These businessmen over here
As a
appreciate that comment.
Absolutely.
Right? But if you insist on doing it at home, just please be careful and follow the manufacturer's guidelines on the equipment that you buy. Listen to the advice that we've given you on this show. Don't leave your fryer unattended. Watch out for distractions. No kids, no dogs running
Throwing
around
the
out there.
football around it.
Throwing the football around, diving catches.
Yeah.
All of that can lead to an issue.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, you're not going to be eating anything for Thanksgiving.
No,
So,
you're going to be. Real quick, the website.
Razzoos.com, 2 Z's, 2 O's.
Okay, you've had the pleasure of the last 45 minutes talking to these guys. What is your biggest takeaway from all the things that we've said so far?
Well, these guys shed a lot of knowledge on the business industry, specifically with restaurants. And my biggest takeaway is I'm going to go home and read this book.
Yeah.
And
And you said this earlier. This is one of the reasons why Razzoos is so successful. It's because of the people,
Mhm.
because of the management, because of the structure. Wouldn't you agree that has been the glue that has made your business stick, and to replicate it like you guys have done?
Absolutely. The glue that's made it stick is our culture. And, these gentlemen talked a lot about systems. And you've been pretty passionate in our commercial breaks about the
Mhm.
systems that you've had experiences with in your own businesses. And we've got systems in place for everything. A side of fries in our restaurant is the same no matter what location you go to. We have a spec for everything. For everything, there is a spec, all the way down to the deli paper that comes on that plate for that appetizer.
Mhm.
Even our kids' items have a spec. But one of these guys made a comment earlier about businesses grow too rapidly. They grow too fast, and you can absolutely outgrow your cash culture and people in the process of doing that. So our people component is extremely important to us. We put a lot of time and investment into our people. Training, we're always doing training. We're always looking at our training systems. We're trying to stay relative and innovative with the times. And like I said, Razzoos is a great place to work, and we've got almost 2,000 employees now.
Wow,
Yeah, and let me say,
Go ahead.
too, my wife and I like Razoo's. We've eaten there lots of times. It is exactly the same every time. It is the McDonald's. It truly is. Not had a bad meal in years and years and years.
Yep. The first thing that he said to me when he came in was he loves our shrimp, and which is, to be honest, sometimes a generic comment that I get. But then he mentioned the rat toes, and you have to be a Razoo's fan to know what rat toes are. So now I
Absolutely.
know that he's telling me the truth.
Yep.
It's good to hear that. And you know,
And the cherry mustard sauce.
to make a comment on a point that Michael made earlier about McDonald's. You know, I watched the movie Founder. I'm sure you guys have watched that movie as well.
Absolutely.
And from a restaurant operator's perspective, the most fascinating scene in that movie to me was the scene at the tennis courts.
Yep.
Where they drew out the line.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and the movie was great, but I rewinded that part and watched it a couple of times because they were way ahead of their time in the logistical planning that goes into that. And it's all about efficiency. And if I can save a second here, and I can save a second there, and I can save 5 seconds over there, and then you compound that over the course of a business day, I mean, it creates extra revenue, creates extra profits, a more efficient and happier workplace, and it was
and then
great.
Ray Kroc took that and replicated it
Ray Kroc,
50,000 times.
That's
so,
right, he did.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's your passion for that. I hear your passion for that.
Oh, you see my eyes light up when I was
Yes,
talking about that.
absolutely.
And Michael loves that.
I hear your passion for that, which is what is making your company as successful as it is.
Thank you.
And replicating that passion is what Ray Kroc did. Replicating that passion in every owner, in every employee, and if they didn't have it, they were gone.
That's right.
Yep.
Another
So,
company.
Congratulations.
Oh, Andrew's great. Another company that's kind of spun off of the McDonald's is Panera Bread. They were the St. Louis bread company until Al Cavelli, who used to be the largest single McDonald's franchise owner in the country outside of the corporate, walked into the St. Louis bread company, loved what he saw, loved the food, put a call into their office, didn't get a call back for several weeks, finally called again, and the young receptionist that did not pass that message along to the guy who owned the St. Louis bread company finally said, oh, my goodness, I forgot to give this message that Al Cavelli called. He's like, Al Cavelli, because he knew who he was. He took that same mentality of operating a McDonald's into the Panera Bread, and that's what made Panera Bread go from St. Louis Bread Company, one location, to now hundreds across the country.
Yep.
And being and doing something that, quite honestly, you know, doing a sandwich, salad, soup, kind of a much more than just doing hamburgers and fries. He was able to balance dozens of products and get them out like that.
Great.
And being very profitable. And he was ahead of the time. They were the first ones to come out with the gluten-free stuff and the GMO and, I mean, all this stuff that was ahead of the curve. They were. And so it's a big shout-out to those guys as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want everyone to get their hands on this book. I really do. And I think this, if you're in business, if you think about getting in business, perhaps, I mean, look, even if we have a young person that's in college and they're like, hey, I want to go out and tackle the world and be my own boss, they need to read something like this before they even waste any of their time.
And every single one of them gets a free book called Making It on Your Own in America or Wherever You Happen to Live, A Journey Toward Radical Self-Employment. So you got to go to freebook.michaelegerber.com and you'll get that book. You'll love it.
Don't you think now more than ever there's no excuse for you not to have every tool available to
There's
make your
no
business succeed?
excuse.
I mean, we live in a day in the internet. I mean, I can go home, I can work on my phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, work on a business. I mean, there's no excuses for young people now.
Absolutely.
I mean, our freaking grandparents had to go work a job for 10 hours a day, go home, sit, and there was no internet. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, couldn't get that side
No, that's
hustle
right.
entrepreneur going. God, don't get me started, man. Razoo's, man, I'm so glad you came in.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
I really am.
It was fun.
I had a good time. I like when you come in. Go to razzoos.com.
Yes,
Find
sir.
the location by you. I got one by me in McKinney,
Okay.
right there off of 75 in El Dorado.
Yep.
Right there. Good stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you. And you.
You gonna eat? What are you gonna do? You staying?
Now we're going home tomorrow.
Yeah. No, where's home for you again?
California.
Oh, good. Just left there. Just got in today, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereabouts in California?
In San Diego County.
Oh, God bless you. Tough life. Huh?
Beautiful.
God bless you.
No fires there.
Yeah. I was in
blessing.
Orange County. It was which is nice, but
Yep.
yeah, it's a blessing down there.
Yep.
And of course, you're here local.
Yes,
Vince
in
family.
Allen, actually.
In Allen,
So
right
near
down the street
you,
from me.
Right.
Staying home. I mean, obviously, people come to the house.
Yeah,
for
we'll be at
Thanksgiving?
home. We actually have 2 Thanksgivings every year. One in the area here, and then we go down to Gun Barrel City on Saturday for
exactly
a much broader group of the family.
Yeah.
So,
Andrew, how about you? Are you working?
Oh no, we're closed on Thanksgiving Day, so I'll be at home. I live out in the Wiley Rockwall area.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's a good question. Cowboys. You watch the Cowboys Redskins. Who you got?
No, I don't watch the Cowboys.
Good for you.
Redskins.
You're a smart man.
it's painful
Don't pick
to be
with your
a,
heart. No, pick with your brain.
it's painful to be a Cowboy fan.
It is.
Truly painful.
That's why they need to go 4-13 for the rest of the year, and then it
yeah.
won't be, 'cause they'll
Well,
fire the
they
coach
traded
and they'll
that
get-
first-round pick, so
Yeah.
Well, what somebody told me is they used to be the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're not anymore.
Yeah. Oh, well, I know. It's brutal. We already got your pick. We already know it. Well, I mean, they could win.
For Thursday, 27-20 Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
27-20.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I do too. Man, this has been fun. I almost don't want to take a break, but I got to. I got to pay some bills.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Brian.
much for coming on.
Thanks for having
Bye-bye.
me.
Play more ahead. We're going to check in with Google. We're going to call in and see what we were searching for this past week on Google. We'll do that when we come back.